Hi everyone, so today we have an analysis of the 2018 Senate gubernatorial and House maps. So we'll start off in the Senate, we'll spend about 5 minutes on the Senate, and then we'll go in to look at the gubernatorial maps, which will take another 5 minutes, and finally we'll wrap things up with the House maps, and then give my overall conclusion. So this will be quite a long video, probably in the ballpark of about 17 minutes, so anyway, so let's just get right into it. So, with the Senate races, originally it was deemed to be that the Republicans was going to keep the Senate, but by a long way, as you can see. But if you look really closely, you can see now Democrats do have a chance at the Senate. The most likely ones that would be 53-47, 52-48, 51-49, 50-50, 51-49, and 52-48. So the most likely, again, is a 50-50 tie. So that's pretty interesting. If Democrats can at least make one gain, it could mean that some Republican senators who are very critical of the president, such as Lisa Murkowski of the state of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine, Ben Sasse of Nebraska, senators like that could go over and support the Democrats in some legislation. So it would get them somewhere. Obviously, it would be beneficial to them to have a 51-49 because some senators such as Heidi Heitkamp, Claire McCaskill, Joe Donnelly, and other Blue Dog Democrats could go rogue and go to the Republicans. So anyway, enough talking about that. We have Senate matchups. So in Nevada, again, deemed to be one of the Democrats' highest likelihoods for a pickup. Again, probably going to go into the leaning Democratic column. In Arizona, the polling has been getting closer, but polling still shows Kristen Sinema with the edge in Arizona. Texas, I want to come back to. It's a very, very interesting race. But some other Democratic states that Democrats think that they have a good shot. In Montana and West Virginia, two states that Trump won by a long mile, but Republicans feel they have a chance, but really polling has shown that the Democrats in those states are pretty safe. Another state Democrats think they're going to hold on to is the state of Indiana, where Joe Donnelly is trying to hold on to his seat. But the rest of these states are not necessarily favorable to Democrats. We have Texas, where we have the incumbent Ted Cruz being challenged by Democrat Beto O'Rourke. Ted Cruz is in the favor to win here, even though Beto O'Rourke is putting up a very strong challenge. Another Republican that's in the favor that I believe will take down the incumbent Democrat in that state, and that is Heidi Heitkamp. I believe she's losing her seat, even though if we look at North Dakota, it shows a 57% chance that Heitkamp wins out. Again, big disagreement with 538. I think they're being a bit generous to the Democrats in these circumstances. But Heitkamp does have a shot, but I believe Kevin Cramer will go on and win that seat. Another state Republicans think they have a shot in is the state of Missouri. They think that Josh Hawley could win. I do not believe so. I believe that Claire McCaskill will narrowly hold on once again at defending her seat in the state of Missouri. So we have two Senate races left, Tennessee and Florida. Democrats need to win both of those to gain Senate control, and it's not out of the question. They could win both of those, but Rick Scott is in the favor to win in the state of Florida, and Tennessee should be considered a pure toss-up for all intents and purposes. So again, not impossible for a Democratic Senate majority, not impossible, but at this point, they would need to have a pretty good night to be able to be in the Senate with control. If they had a really, really good night, you could see them flipping the states of Texas and North Dakota, and maybe even Mike Espy could pull off an upset in Mississippi. or Jane Raybould could pull off an upset in Nebraska. But at this point, these scenarios are extremely, extremely unlikely. The best case scenario for the Democrats that I can see is this map, which is pretty out there, if you will. Kind of the next state out of these to flip to the Republicans, I believe, is North Dakota, followed by Texas, followed by Florida. But if they do want to keep Senate control, I believe this is the most likely path to a Democratic Senate. And next we're going to look at the gubernatorial map. So this would be, but my prediction, I believe that the Republicans, they will win in the state of Florida. This is my Senate prediction. The Democrats pick up the states of Nevada, Arizona, and Tennessee, and the Republicans pick up the states of North Dakota, North Dakota and Florida, and they hold on to Texas. So that's the final Senate. We will now look at the gubernatorial map. Let me change that to a 3-color map. That's much better. Actually, that is pretty... I don't have time to go through all of those. However, I will take out the states of Georgia, Arizona in this map. I believe these are ones that could go to the Democrats. Anyway, so these are kind of the safe states, if you will, for either political party. It's considered safe or leaning, kind of, pretty much going to go to them. With the state of Vermont, a disagreement there. I don't believe it's safe Republican. I believe it's leaning Republican. They have a very strong candidate there. I believe the first LGBT woman to be nominated in the country, so very strong candidate there, I believe. But at the end of the day, I still believe that Phil Scott will hold on. But in Nevada, new polling shows that Steve Sisolak is killing it in Nevada. If we go and look, I don't believe we can do that, but in Arizona, that's going to be very close. However, internal polling from the Democrats even shows a tie, so that could, at the end of the day, narrowly go to the Republicans, the state of Arizona. In Iowa, we have brand new polling that shows the Democrat +5 there, and that's looking really positive. If the Democrat can ride this blue wave, I believe he can unseat the incumbent Kim Reynolds. Same thing over in Wisconsin. I believe that Tony Evers will unseat the incumbent Scott Walker, and that is going to be very, very positive for the Democrats. In Ohio, again, Richard Cordray, very strong candidate. Mike DeWine, originally the favorite to win. This is John Kasich's seat. Recent polling has shown it very close, but if the Democrat can ride the wave, I believe he could win in the state of Ohio. Going down to Florida, very, very strong candidate, Andrew Gillum, extremely strong, very progressive, very strong candidate, endorsed by Bernie Sanders, endorsed by Justice Democrats. I don't know if it was Justice Democrats or Our Revolution. One of them did endorse Andrew Gillum, and he has been increasing his lead in the last few polls, up to +5 now, ahead of DeSantis in this specific matchup. I believe this is leaning to go to the Democrats. We only have a few more states left. We have the state of Maine, where we have the, who is it in Maine again? I keep forgetting. Paul LePage is the incumbent, and Janet Mills is trying to take him down. He's not running actually, but I see this going into the Democratic column. We have Connecticut and Georgia left to go. In Connecticut, the incumbent, Ned Lamont, he's actually not an incumbent, sorry about that, but Ned Lamont will be challenging the Bob Stefanowski, I believe that's how you say it. Daniel Malloy is not running. He has an extremely low approval rating. I see this going into the Democratic column. Final state to decide, Georgia. It's going to be very close. Polling shows it being very tight, much tighter than people expected. I'm leaving this state as a pure toss-up. So that is it for the gubernatorial map. We have all the states filled in. I believe this is what the gubernatorial map will look like. 25 Democrats, 24 Republicans, which means will either be a Democratic NGA or a tie. So that would be very interesting to watch in Georgia. Now we'll look at the House forecast. Many competitive races. I really want to touch on the California districts where we have, let me try and find it, where we have in California 48, we have Dana Rohamba trying to hold on. I believe that the Democrat will win in the 48th district of California. Very positive signs for the Democrats. Sorry, not the 50th district. That's Hunter's seat. We try and get the 48th district. If I can find it, there we go. I believe that the Democrat will win in the 48th district. There you see all of it is 5 and 8. 1 and 2 is I believe a bit lenient towards the Republicans in this specific race. Another specific district that I want to cover is Virginia 10th, where we have Jennifer Wexton, the Democrat, who is challenging Barbara Comstock, the Republican incumbent. Again, I do believe Comstock has a chance. I don't believe she has a 20% chance of winning, but I do think the Democrat is favored in the state of Virginia 10th. There you see Barbara Comstock losing her seat. Another really specific race I want to touch on is Wisconsin, where we have Paul Ryan's seat. Again, a major disagreement with 538 being way too generous to the Republicans. A likely Republican, definitely not what it will be. It won't be like that. I definitely see the Democrat having a real shot. I do believe the Democrat will pick up this seat. Randy Bryce, very strong candidate. Justice Democrat, Our Revolution, Bernie Sanders, going to really appeal to the voters in the 1st Congressional District. One other race I want to touch on is in the state of Maine, the 2nd district there. Yes, I do agree with 538 in this instance. I do believe that the Republican there will narrowly retain his seat there. Bruce Poliquin, I believe he will retain that seat. So just a few interesting races I wanted to touch on. Another really interesting race, the Senate race in Texas. You have a really unpopular Republican incumbent, Ted Cruz, who's the incumbent. Beto O'Rourke putting up a very strong challenge. He definitely has a shot. I do believe this is going to go to the Republicans at the end of the day, but Beto O'Rourke does have a very good shot. He was ahead in one poll, but then more recent polls have come out showing the incumbent ahead in this specific circumstance. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.